So this is a new addition to He's Where. I'm going to do a book report. So I read this book. It's called Do What You Want, The Story of Bad Religion. This was a pretty fun one. If you are a fan of punk rock in general, especially like some of the older stuff, like from the 80s and 90s, you're really going to enjoy this one. If you're a fan of Bad Religion, you're really going to enjoy this one. Uh, if you enjoy just a fun read about historical shit in like Hollywood, LA, San Fernando Valley, Inland Empire, the punk rock scene was really prevalent back in the 80s and 90s and in that area, basically Southern California. So if you're interested in any of that, this book has a lot of interesting stuff going on. It's a great story. If you've ever tried to play in a band, you'll understand the plight of an aspiring musician. When I was younger, I played in two bands. Neither one of them were good. And both times, first of all, being a musician in general, like I played guitar a little. I was never any good. I could kind of just keep tempo, strumming what I thought, oh, here, put your fingers here, hit it 4 times, put your fingers here, hit it 4 times, and then repeat that. But I loved writing songs. I loved singing. I love singing. So it was just a lot of fun to do it, but you can number one, you couldn't find the time. Money, it was always an issue with being able to purchase equipment. Where do you practice at? Where do you let it out? In your garage where you annoy the fucking neighbors. And then scheduling, getting people to collaboratively come together and write music together, play together, practice together. That in itself is difficult, but to do that, religiously, like over and over again, have like a schedule and do it multiple times a week, for a long period of time to even get, because the more you play together, the better you get. And the more you play, the better you get. And the better you get, the more inspired you are to create more. So it's just this like thing. It's like a ride. Once you get on it, you're on it. But I was never able to get on it. Like I was always just like right there. But yeah, so super difficult just to get people to show up. People that share the same interests. I had one time where I had a band member. He just was really political, and it didn't matter what his politics were. But that's all he wanted to talk about. He just wanted to. Every song was like really intense, like politically driven, and I was like, okay. I mean, I get your point, but I mean, at this point in my life, I'm just kind of like, fart and booger fucking songs were kind of my forte. I was a big fan of like Guttermouth, but. Actually, I'm getting off topic. So, Bad Religion. So, anyway, I highly recommend it. Get the book. Read it if you read. Listen to it if you listen to it. I listen to books. I don't read. I would go as far as to say I can't read. So, whatever's happening up here, and I don't think I'm alone. I know that this isn't like this. I'm not like saying, oh, I'm 1 in a million or whatever the fuck. I think a lot of people have the same exact issue I have, where there's just a lot of noise going on, and I have a hard time focusing. So when I'm reading, my brain is thinking of so many other things that I'll read a whole page, I get to the end of it, and I forget everything I just read, and I got to go back and read it, and it's too time consuming and just tedious and cumbersome. Like I don't want to. I did really horrible all throughout my whole education until I got to college when I actually fucking took an interest. But had a real hard time in grade school and junior high and high school because I just couldn't read. I couldn't retain whatever the fuck I just read. It was horrible. Right now, give me some sports stats, give me some information about a punk band shit that I'm interested in. How to fix my Harley and how that shit works. I can read that stuff and retain it, but you give me like a Harry Potter book or something that I'm reading, I just have such a hard time retaining any of it. So the Bad Religion book was fun. but listening to it makes it so that I could get through much more without spacing out, because I feel like I'm listening to somebody talking to me, and I can focus and pay attention. I can't really do other tasks while I'm doing it, but anyway, however you do it, listening, reading, get it read to you, somebody reads the book to you. But I guess that's what Audible is. So I don't know. I'm fucking completely rambling now. But it's in the book, it talks about the meaning behind the name Bad Religion, and it describes an interview where they're being interviewed on TV, and Brett Gurewitz jumps in, like they're asking Greg Graffin, what's the meaning behind the name Bad Religion, and he was it seemed like he wanted to say a lot, but he was and in the book it talks about how it describes how he was like, oh, I think this guy's trying to have like a gotcha moment. He's trying to make me say something that he could then take a dig on. So then Brett jumps in and he answers it, and I actually just went on YouTube and I actually found that clip. So I'll play that real quick.
That is a very inspirational song.
Inspiring what?
I just write the words, see.
Right, you don't write the thoughts.
We don't know what it means. We have no idea.
Your title is Bad Religion.
Yeah.
Explain what bad religion is. And
Can I explain?
yeah.
Yeah, first of all, any organized system of thoughts is a bad religion. Any government is a bad religion. Any predetermined idea of how to act is a bad religion. And basically that's what a bad religion is.
And Sunday on Channel 9.
Yeah.
Ash!
In Channel 3
I didn't do that on purpose.
and Sunday on Channel 9. So,
We didn't call ourselves good religion, we call ourselves bad religion because we feel that religion is bad, and basically any organized system of thought is a religion.
right. Okay.
But the book also goes into like the beginning of the Epitaph label, which is there's two labels that I really grew up on. There's a couple other labels that were pretty influential, but Epitaph and Fat Records were like the two labels that I just cannot get enough of. When I was in the mid 90s, late 90s, mid-teens all the way through into my 20s, anytime a new band was introduced to me through they got signed by Fat Records or they got signed by Epitaph, I was just I would check them out, and almost always I was like, oh, this is the sound I'm looking for. I fucking love it. So yeah, learning about like the history of Epitaph, and Brett Gurewitz pretty much talking about how he left the band to run that label. It was pretty cool, but in the book, in the audio book, obviously in the paperback book or the physical book, it's going to have these images in there, but with the audio book, you still get this PDF that kind of shows you some of the just clips, little photos and stuff. Like I got one. This one is an early picture, like one of the first pictures of the band together, and then you could juxtapose that with a more recent one. This photo is when they were recording Age of Reason, I think it was. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So it's a pretty good, you could see like what I was talking about, how difficult it is to keep a band together for that fucking long. Like 1979, when I was born, this band has been a band and is still playing shows now. As a matter of fact,
I can't explain it. The things just say it don't mean it's going on. Oh yeah. 'Cause I'm a 21st century original one. I got a lot of rain, I got a lot of toys. My daddy's a lazy middle class intellectual.
there's a clip of me at No Values tour. That was like 2 years ago at the Pomona Fairplex. Saw a lot of good bands that day, but that they're just right there in the mix of it. Actually, that day I got to see Sublime play, and Bradley Knowles' kid. I forgot the kid's name. Actually, is the kid's name Bradley Knowles? No, Bradley Knowles is the dad, and the kid was came back and was singing. That was a pretty fun day. But anyway, yeah. So they're still on tour. They're still doing shit. They're still playing right now. Actually, here's another clip. You know, you could see Greg Graffin just... I mean, you still see that kid in him, right? But you could tell he's old. Not super old, but he's old. And he's still out there just punk rocking it up, you know, just loving performing live and spreading his message. The current, most recent members of the band, Greg Graffin on lead vocals, plays keyboards too, and he's been since 1979 to the present. Brett Gurewitz, who's the plays guitar and vocals. He did it from 1973 to 1983. Then he rejoined the band 1986 to 1994. Then he's been playing again with the band from 2001 to the present. In 1994, he actually just put all his focus into Epitaph Records. That year was the year that Epitaph Records got... they had Offspring released. They released the Smash album for Offspring. You know, say what you want about Offspring, that's a fucking punk rock band. It's been a punk rock band. They definitely were mainstream. There's all this other talk you could go in about that, but the bottom line was the music, and it was fucking amazing. The album Smash was in all kinds of skate videos and surf videos. Like, it was fucking amazing. Almost every song on that album, I remember just listening to it over and over and over again. Same year, right after that, you know, you had Ranted's Let's Go, which I'll take a photo. I have a big old poster of Let's Go right there with the red flag with the fist. That album came out same year. Stranger Than Fiction, Bad Religion's album Stranger Than Fiction, which is a little less hard. I mean, it had some good fast stuff on it, but a lot of slower melodic stuff that, you know, at that point in time, I was just such a big fan that when it came out in '94, I was just like, sold. This is fucking amazing, and I loved every bit of it. Also, they released Punk and Drublic, so that was before Fat Mike started Fat Records, and they released Punk and Drublic on Epitaph, and that was another one of, I mean, that's punk rock gold right there. It's like, you know, NoFX is just one of the best fucking punk rock bands that is to ever do it. And then you have Jay Bentley. So Jay Bentley, he's a bass player and he has vocals. He's been in and out, but he also played in TSOL. And as you could tell by my eyeballs, I'm kind of referring to my notes. It's kind of stuff that I kind of know but don't like have memorized, but it's all like it's fun stuff that, you know, basically I'm just got stuff out of the book, took little clips and stuff, and then I'm just adding some of my own personal like experience and knowledge or whatever. Not knowledge, just my experience. Been a fan of the band since I think it was '93. Might have been '94. It might have been the year Smash came out. But right there, you know, 13, 14 years old, 16 years old when I went to my first punk show. But the first time I saw Bad Religion was at Warped Tour in 1996-ish. It could have been 95 or 97, but around that time. So I think I was like 16, 17 years old. And I remember the first time I saw him play, I remember being completely enamored with Jay Bentley. Like, that band's out there, right? You got four guys across the stage plus the drummer. It's just, you know, all this commotion happening, and obviously the star of the show, Greg Graffin, who's just preaching to the fucking crowd, you know. And I was stuck on this bass player because he was just so alive with the music. Like, I was enamored with him because he was singing along. Not even like he had a microphone to do like backup vocals and like harmonies or whatever you want to call it, like, but he's backing away where it's like not his part to sing, and he's singing every lyric to every song. He's in it. He loves this music. He's not just playing it like it's a job. He's playing it because he fucking really just loves playing music and playing this music, playing with this band. And I feel like, I don't know, I related to that as a member of the crowd, as a fan. It's kind of how I am. I just love singing along and being at the show and experiencing it with them. Brian Baker on guitar and vocals from 1994 to the present. He is also founding member of a little band called Minor Threat. That's one of the staples. If you're a fan of punk rock, you know who Minor Threat is, and you're also probably a big fan. You know, there's a lot of bands that do like covers of songs. So many bands have covered Minor Threat songs. You go to a Bad Religion show, they're doing a Minor Threat cover. You go to a Pennywise show, they're doing a Minor Threat cover. Lagwagon does a Minor Threat cover. Every time I've seen so many Minor Threat covers. Like, I feel like people who create punk rock acknowledge that band being one of a great source of early punk rock inspiration, vibe, worldview, like everything. Jamie Miller being on the drums since 2015 till now, and there's actually a long list. There's about 5 or 6 drummers that have been kind of coming and going. But another honorable mention is Greg Hetson. Greg Hetson, formerly of Red Cross, which for about a year, but he's one of the fucking main dudes of Circle Jerks. That he still plays with the Circle Jerks to this day. Got to finish this tattoo. This is the beginning of a Circle Jerks tattoo that I have not finished. My niece is on this project, so we'll get that done soon. So in this book, there's just so many little tidbits of history that I never knew. And because I'm a huge fan, most of it was super interesting to me, and it kept my attention. Like the fact that Eddie Vedder sang backup vocals on American Jesus when they recorded it on the album. Like either Brett or Greg, like one of them called Eddie Vedder and was like, hey, you want to come sing backup vocals on this song? Been listening to that song for I don't know how long. Been singing along to that song. Never knew the backup vocals were fucking Eddie Vedder. Eddie fucking Vedder. That's funny. Or one of the facts that I didn't know, and it's funny how my brain like thinks it knows and it doesn't fucking know until someone explains something to me, and then I go, oh fuck, I didn't even know that. So the album The Gray Race, I don't know why, but I always just assumed he was talking about those like alien pictures of aliens with the gray skin, and have the fucking almond eyes, and the big heads and the little bodies. Like, I don't know why, but in the book it talks about how the inspiration of the Gray Race was referring to the human race. We're the gray race. And it talks about it in terms of how we are the only species on the planet that does not think in terms of black and white. Like, we're able to add nuance to the different ideas and emotions. We don't just think like fight or flight. It's not just a black and white deal with us. We are the gray race because we think in terms of blurred ideas. And I thought that was fucking super interesting. It's like, fuck, I never knew that. Although I always feel like I understood the gist, the vibe, the energy, like the worldview of this band, and the lyrics of the songs that I always sang along with. I did get slightly thrown off by some of the big words. Greg Graffin, Brett Gerwitz, the people who were writing these songs, they are smart as fuck. If you don't know who Greg Graffin is, simple Google search. He's got fucking degrees in evolutionary biology. He's done geology, and he's done all this other stuff. He actually he teaches courses at UCLA to this day. He's a professor. He's smart as fuck, and so is the other band members. But they were singing and talking about ideas that I didn't fully understand. Like, this was a band that was singing about very deep, meaningful topics about life and death and politics and the presidents and our geopolitical shit going on throughout the world with war and everything, and it was so deep that I feel like I didn't really understand it, but I was, at 16, 17 years old, and just discovering punk, and I just had this indescribable, like, I didn't know what it was, like this teen angst that was happening in me, and I was like super rebellious, and like I did not want anybody telling me what the fuck to do. Like I couldn't stand, when I heard Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies, where he's like, I went to your schools, I went to your churches, I went to your institutional learning facilities, so how could you say that I'm crazy? I felt that. That was fucking meaningful to me. I was like, what the fuck are all these people, my teachers, people at the church, my parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, people trying to tell me what to do? But I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what it was. And then I would hear this music, and it was like, oh, hey, by the way, you're not alone. This is what you're feeling is right. What you're feeling is real. And this is how we, deal with it. This music, this culture, and it was just amazing to me. So I that's kind of how I fell in love with it. But it's funny because I would sing along with these songs in front of friends, at concerts, in the car, and literally singing incorrect words or even just gibberish. There was times where I would sing along and I wouldn't know what that word was, but I knew the sounds. And so I'd be saying the word, I had no fucking clue what it was. Didn't know what it meant. They never even were. I mean, we're talking the mid 90s. There's no fucking internet. I mean, internet was just coming out in like the late 90s, I think. But, we didn't Google shit. We didn't look stuff up. We didn't really have a way to do it. And if there was, I didn't know of it. I mean, there's dictionaries, right? Obviously, I could have looked up the words, but I just didn't. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even care. I felt like I got the idea. We're good. Only you come to find out later in life, right? So easily now. I'm going to Google the words to 21st Century Digital Boy and go, holy shit, this song does not mean what I thought it meant. So, but it was fun to learn something new about something old in my life. It was like this retrospective insight that just gave me like this feeling of glee and like nostalgia at the same time. Like I'm being informed, like the curtain is parting just a little more and about something that I already love. So, and then I love it more, and I'm just fucking enjoying it. But the book, overall, a great experience. Although I would have preferred if the actual authors narrated the audiobook, because like I said earlier, I can't read. I have to do audiobook. And there's another book, the Hepatitis Bathtub and Other Stories, written by NoFX. One of the greatest bands of all time. But in that book, all the members, Fat Mike, Melvin, Smelly, El Jefe, they all write a portion and they all narrate it. They all read it to you, and it just has this there's a feeling of like more like an intimate feeling when you're listening to. And that book's great. I read it like 3 or 4 years ago, so I'm gonna reread it, and I'm gonna do one of these for that. So that all 4 people that watch this thing that I got going on here, I kind of read a lot of different books, like punk rock books. I have a lot of religious books that I read, some old C.S. Lewis stuff. They're all over the place as far as like there's no specific like niche interest. But I think I'm going to do like a series of this. I'd like to do a series of this. I don't know if anybody's interested. The 3 of you that watched this episode, can both of you put in the comments down below, would you be interested in seeing like more of this, but like of different styles of book, different genres and all that stuff? But anyway, all in all, The Story of Bad Religion, a fucking great book. If you can't read, listen. And if you got all the way to the end of this, thank you so much for watching. Trying to get this content creator thing down. I'm trying to produce more material with all kinds of different facets of my life. This is one that I'm really enjoying. Like I'm just having so much fun with the whole process. The creating content, the thinking about what I'm gonna talk about, the editing, the research, the production. Hopefully down the line I invest a little more money in the production value, better cameras. Actually, I got a camera coming that I should have tomorrow. I'm gonna do do a new video. I'll actually do a video on fucking that camera. Anyway, but if you did stay this long, thank you. Please help me out. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. I'm going to make more shit on a regular basis. If you can't read, listen.